Hi.
Good afternoon. My name is Ian Pickens, and I'll be your host today for Meldon Law Friends Podcast. I'm an attorney in our Ocala office. Been with the firm for coming up on 7 years. Filling in for Jeffrey Meldon, my boss, who was unable to make it today. We've got a great show for you today. Meldon Law, we have 3 offices. We also have an office in Fort Lauderdale, so 4 offices, but our 3 offices located up here in North Florida are in Lake City, Gainesville, which is our main hub, and then we also have an office that I run down in Ocala. So we service pretty much everywhere in the entire state of Florida, but specifically in the North Florida area, it's all our backyard. So if you have been injured in an accident, please feel free to give us a call for a free consultation. Call 352-373-8000. If you're in the Ocala area, also feel free to just walk on in. I'm there pretty much 24/7, it feels like. We got a great office that we've renovated right there off of Pine Avenue, right across from Advent Hospital. New landscaping, the whole 9. So feel free to come in and talk to us. Like I said, it's a free consultation, and we'll let you know how we think we can help you. We also have a criminal department, so if you find yourself that you've been arrested or someone you know that unfortunately has been arrested, please also feel free to call us because we do specialize in criminal cases as well as our main niche, which is personal injury, whether that's an auto accident, slip and fall, dog bite, we run the gambit. So please feel free to call us for that free consultation. We also, in addition to this podcast, on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m., you can catch us for Law Talk Live. If you have a legal question, that's a great opportunity to call in. We're on 93.7 The Sky. Call in with that question. One of the attorneys is usually hosting the show, whether that's myself, Jeffrey, Carrie Meldon, Lot Bullock, one of our attorneys, Maria Youngblood, another attorney, Yolanda Means. We have a huge presence there, so feel free to call us. We'll answer that question for you. As far as an announcement, one of the things that we want to let y'all know and be on the lookout for our social media platforms, especially Facebook, is the Alzheimer's Association, which is a cause that's near and dear to Jeffrey and his wife, Patricia Meldon's heart. They're co-chairing the executive committee for the Walk to End the Alzheimer's, and that event is going to be on October 21st, 2023. Last year, we were able to raise over $10,000 from the firm to donate towards that cause, and this year they have a goal of $140,000 for that association. So please put that on your calendar. Be on the lookout for plugs coming from our Meldon Law social media, Facebook, Twitter, and all across the board, and support that as a great cause, like I said, that's near and dear to Jeffrey and Patricia's heart. In other news, even though the school semester is over, Gator Sports is not done yet. It's a big weekend. We had a huge weekend last weekend, especially Sunday. The Gators were able to bounce back from a tough loss against Texas Tech on Saturday. They came back and beat UConn in the morning, and then they ended up beating Texas Tech 2 games in a row, once on Sunday, once on Monday. So big shout out to Gator baseball. The bats got hot. Jack Caglione, I know he homered. Langford, he was hot, and BT Ripel, he came through like he did in the SEC tournament with a couple of dingers. The pitching was outstanding those last 3 games between Sunday and Monday, and so big series coming in. So we need all the Gator fans out there at the park for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if necessary. Hopefully we can sweep the Gamecocks in 2. Obviously, the series up in Columbia earlier during the regular season didn't go our way, but like I said, the pitching has been outstanding. Bullpen, Neely's been coming in, closing. The bats are hot, and so got a good feeling to try to get us out of the Super Regional and back to Omaha for the first time since 2018. So go Gator baseball, and if you can, get out there and support them. Also, another weekend event coming up are the men's and women's track teams. We sent 13 women to the national championships and 8 men. So they'll be competing for individual and team titles. I know Ryan Willey is one of the favorites for the men's 400, which is probably one of the toughest races there is in track and field. Their 4x4 team actually broke the collegiate record that was previously set by Florida. So that 4x4 team has been dominant. 4x1 team's looking good. And Robert Gregory, a couple weekends ago over at the regionals, ran, I think, a 19.6 in the 200. So the men are blazing fast. We also have some fantastic women. Talitha Diggs, who was actually competed for the U.S. National team a little while ago. She's ready to defend her title in the 400. And then we also have Jasmine Moore, which is one of the best women's long jump and triple jumpers of all college. So if you get a chance to support your Gators, tune in, watch them, and go Gators. So we also have two special guests with us here today for our program from Meridian Behavioral Healthcare. One of our guests is Valerie Paquale. She is an alumnus of a Tulane Public School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine. She works at Meridian. Then we also have Kandra Albury, who's the VP of Marketing for Meridian Behavioral Healthcare. So they'll be on in a little bit to kind of give you some overview as far as some of the services they provide. It's great to have them in the community. I've had clients use them before. They're fantastic people. They do provide a fantastic service for our community, not just in Gainesville, but in some of the surrounding counties. And they just do really great work, and they're really great people. So we're excited to have them on the show. And so just stay tuned, and we'll continue on.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
I was driving behind a lady, and very suddenly she moved out of the way. There was a log laying in the road, and when I hit my brakes, I went on top of the log. I had 2 herniated discs. I just haven't been the same since. Jeffrey Meldon fought for me all the way. Him and his team really went there for me. Throughout the whole lawsuit, he made sure that my bills was paid. It was never no whenever I called him and asked him for something.
Call Meldon Law right now.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again!
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey! Somebody else hit us!
Here we go again.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. Again, I'm your host, Ian Pickens, one of the attorneys with the Meldon Law Firm, and I run the Ocala office. And to my right, we have Miss Valerie Paquale and Miss Kandra Albury. How are y'all doing today?
Wonderful, thank you.
Good.
Great, excited to be here.
Fantastic. So, Ms. Kandra, my understanding is you are the VP of Marketing for Meridian Behavioral Healthcare?
Yes.
How long have you been in that role?
So I've been in the role 7 months now, and my background has always been in public relations, corporate communications, PR, branding, advertising. So I'm really excited to bring my experience to Meridian.
What did you do prior to joining Meridian?
Actually, I have my own publishing agency, More Than Expected Publishing, here in Gainesville. And before that, I actually worked at UF Health, Shands, Jacksonville, for about 6 years. And then I was at Duval County Public Schools and Corporate Communications as well.
Awesome. Okay. And Ms. Valerie, what's your role with Meridian?
So I'm the Director of Prevention Services.
Okay.
A lot of people are like, okay, prevention, what is that? So my role is to do a lot of education, school-based education and community training, both around mental health and mental wellness. We do mental health first aid training, as well as school-based education to delay the onset of first drug use. As you might not know, 90% of substance use disorders occur in people who use drugs before the age of 18. So we're trying to push that off as long as possible, and not like DARE, not in ways that are not evidence-based, not using scare tactics, but using positive coping skills and learning how to manage one's emotions. So that's what prevention services is in a nutshell.
Got it. So you do that, and then it's Miss Kandra to get it out to the community and let her know what's going on.
Yeah.
So how many Meridian? How many offices do y'all have?
So we are located in 13 counties. We have 2 campuses, which is our main campus here in Gainesville, and our second largest campus is in Lake City.
Okay.
And in the remaining 11 areas, of course, they're like in our Tri-County area, and they can extend as far as like McClenny. And then, of course, we have other areas like our Chiefland, our Baker County. We're in Bradford County. So we're a little bit like kind of like north central area, but we definitely have expanded out into a lot of the rural areas as well. Right. So 13 counties total.
Absolutely. And most of those are north central Florida?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. So how, just so we can get it early, how can someone get in touch with y'all? I mean, to find the service they need or find that location?
Absolutely. So we have our main number, which is our 352-374-5600. Option 1, of course, is for crisis, but you can just follow the prompts through to get through whatever department that you need. I always say that if it's a crisis, of course, press 1 and then you'll be routed to the appropriate department. But then we also have the national crisis line, which is 988.
Right. Now, crisis being, is that anything? Or, I mean, because some people may say, oh, it's not a crisis, but really it could be.
Right. So, well, I like to allow Valerie kind of, I want to defer that to her, but I kind of look at it like whether it's anxiety or it's a panic attack, but Valerie's definitely our expert on that.
Right.
So it could be a number of things. A crisis is a situation of high stress. It can be physical, emotional, a combination of the both. And it could look like a whole host of things. Like you mentioned, it could be anxiety, it could be a medical emergency. Right. We could be talking about suicide, non-suicidal self-injury, trauma, like after a traumatic experience. The list goes on and on and on. Right. It can look a whole number of different ways. And if someone is in crisis, the best thing to do is to reach out for supportive services, and Meridian is proud to provide those crisis services.
So it sounds like regardless of what a person may be dealing with, y'all are equipped to handle the need as it comes in.
Yeah.
And so one of the things is, you have all these services, but is it any different in some of the more rural areas, which I assume maybe have a smaller staff, smaller space? Do they have to drive to Gainesville or Lake City for a bigger office to get that, or y'all bringing the services to them?
Yeah, so at our larger 2 campuses, of course, we have more services there. We have our crisis stabilization unit, which is on our main campus. We offer a lot of our residential services as well on our 2 larger campuses. Others where there's, patients are coming into those to those outerlying areas, we do offer some of the same services. We do have folks who can kind of get them in, assess what their needs are, go through whatever it is that they're in need of and find out what the need need is.
Right.
And then we'll kind of be able to triage them and determine whether or not they need to come into, our larger facilities for additional services.
Right, absolutely. So as far as prevention and education, what type of courses or things can people avail themselves to work on that or figure out? Because someone may say, well, I have anxiety, but it's not that bad. But months from now or a trigger, they just don't know. How do they go about educating themselves?
Yeah, totally. And that's something that is really common. A lot of us experience stress and anxiety, just living as humans.
Exactly.
So this is something that I talk about all the time in my mental health first aid course, actually. Many of us come to that course as people with anxiety, and many of us come to that course looking to help our community, and some of us are looking to do both, help ourselves in the community. So for someone who's concerned about that, we do that course. It's an 8-hour training course where someone gets certified in how to help with someone's immediate needs in a early escalating or crisis situation, dealing with mental health, and link someone to care. So it's not, no one's going to be learning how to be a therapist in the course of my session, but unless they already happen to be a therapist, but someone does get the skills to be able to help link someone to immediate care. Just like in physical first aid, you're not doing surgery if someone is, having a wound, but you might be putting pressure on the wound to stop the bleeding until 911 comes. So that's our champion program, I'd say, of our prevention department for adults, for adult learners, and then for our young people, we are licensed to provide any evidence-based substance use prevention program, and we at Meridian really like one curriculum called BOTFIN Life Skills. It's the gold standard for all age levels, like 3rd grade up through young adults, and we do provide that across that whole spectrum of age.
From 3rd grade to essentially senior in high school, you're running?
To age like 20, 21. And we're able to provide both of those courses, both for young people and for community members and adults at no cost, which is really wonderful. We're lucky to have the support of some really great funding sources from SAMHSA and Lutheran Services in Florida. So we're able to help whoever wants to take those classes, they can. We work with schools, so if anyone's listening and works in a school that wants to bring our services to you, please reach out to us. We'd love to work with your students. And if anyone is interested in coming to one of our mental health first aid classes, we can bring it to your organization, or you can come to us. We host community classes on our campus twice a month. So you can reach out to us and learn more at our website.
Well, that took away the one question I was going to ask you. Is like, how do we get you into the school? So I'll take it being an attorney and prior to doing the personal injury side, I was focusing primarily in criminal defense. So as far as attorneys out there, whether it's criminal defense or any other area that they have a client that maybe has a substance issue or a mental health issue or a dual diagnosis, maybe self-medicating because of one, and ultimately, I'm sure you see that all the time.
Yes.
So what's the best way for them to reach out to y'all or get involved more so in the court system? Because some attorneys may not know that these services are there.
Yeah, so it's actually a really wonderful course for attorneys to take. I actually worked with the local circuit of the Florida Bar here locally a few months ago to provide a kind of shorter version, not exactly mental health first aid, but it hit on some of the similar points in a shorter time frame. And I got really great feedback from attorneys saying, I need this. I'm having these dual diagnoses. I don't know how to ask my clients if they're doing well. I don't know what resources to refer them to. I'm in a high stress job and I don't know what resources I need as an attorney, what supports I have through the Florida Bar. So I think all around for your profession, this mental health topic, it might not at first glance seem like they're so linked, but they are intrinsically linked. And I think it's so wonderful that you've spent so much time with us and other Meridian staff the past few weeks on this podcast spot. So thank you for highlighting these issues and for bringing them to the forefront. I think it's really important for your field.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And to my boss, Jeffrey Meldon, it's all his idea. I'm just here. So one of the things is, I guess, ultimately that I kind of learned starting to practice law, specifically, again, in criminal defense and seeing some of the issues is, I want to say before I started, there was potentially like a stigma that I think is hopefully slowly getting peeled back regarding mental health and substance abuse issues. What can we do as, just a law firm, legal community, then others that are watching this that may have a loved one to help, undo that and realize that, hey, some people just need some help because we all need some help because we're all dealing with it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. We are all dealing with it.
Yeah,
that's off the camera for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think having conversations, just like these, we at some point in our lives, we're all going to experience some type of crisis. I mean, when you think about the statistics, it's 1 in 4. Right. 1 in 4 individuals, adults, have experienced either some type of mental health crisis or have struggled with substance use disorders. So it's not uncommon. So I like to compare it to getting on I-75 and counting 1 in every 4 cars. Right. Or looking around a restaurant and counting 1 in 4 individuals. So continue to have the conversations. And also, I feel being sensitive and being compassionate. I think our world made a hard pivot when COVID happened. And I feel that it impacted us as a human race, being in isolation. And what better time than now to be able to have courageous conversations about, are you okay? And being able to stand in that moment and just kind of park in that place and just say, if you're not, here are some things that you can do. And that's what I love about mental health first aid, is it gives you those tools and those resources to be able to have the conversations and know exactly what to do. Right, absolutely. Yeah. So that's a great segue to what changes or how have y'all kind of molded and adapted, because everyone had to do it since 2019, and then we had the big it happened, and then how have y'all adapted or changed how you handle things? Yeah, I think just the telehealth. When I got there, I learned that within 1 month that all of our services, mainly being able to treat the patient care, the level of care, went straight virtually, like in 1 month. And so many organizations were still trying to figure it out when we had already been kind of teetering in the space, is what I was told. And so it was easy for us to make that pivot. That's one thing. And we still offer that because it's nothing like being busy and having a busy lifestyle which a lot of people are, whether you're balancing, your kids and career or whatever. It's good to be able to just pop open your phone and be able to speak with your healthcare provider. And that's something that we did and we still have. Another thing is just being able to get our services out in the community. I feel that the mental health first aid and being able to get into the schools and just letting people know that we're much more than just crisis at Meridian, that we are a resource to the community. Although we have the Baker Acts and the Marchman Act, we have our CSU, but we have so many programs. We have our services for veterans, our homeless services. We have services for moms who are also in recovery. We have outpatient services. We have residential services. So our services go on and on and on, but we're not just strictly crisis. We are here for the community before, during, and after a crisis. And after is when we offer those wraparound care, the wraparound programs, and how we follow up with folks, whether it's through our mobile response team or our what do you call it, Valerie, when our folks ride along?
Our co-responder
team. I know we have 2, so we use a lot of acronyms. But whether we're with the MRT or our co-responders, we're here for the community, and we have the services that once they come through our system of care, we can wrap around and be able to support them through their journey of recovery. Right. Okay. So wrap around basically when they leave your facility, you're still staying involved. Offer that support for the individual as well as for their families. Right. And what was the other one? The co-responder team. Okay, what is that? Yes.
So our co-responder teams, that is a wonderful program that is in partnership with City of Gainesville paramedicine program, Meridian, clinicians and both Alachua County and Gainesville officers. They're all trained in how to de-escalate a situation, in, you know, mental health crises, how to provide services, and it's leading to ultimately more compassionate, safer responses to crises that otherwise might be really scary for people who are calling 911. They don't know what's going to be on the other end of that line. They don't know if, hey, am I going to be thrown in the hospital tonight? And that's not the first line of care. That's not always the answer. Sometimes it is.
To be like, we're back and you're going to jail.
Absolutely.
And that's it. Which you know, the criminal justice system, I always said, is not designed to provide the services y'all do. And so, you know, and you lock someone up and it doesn't cure anything. If anything, it makes it worse. And then you release them. And then like, what happens there? And then it's just a open, revolving door. And so, like, these programs are extremely important, and you know, hopefully people will take advantage and find y'all, reach out to y'all, or we can continue getting the name out there. And so, as far as treatment, y'all do inpatient, outpatient, everything?
Yes, we do. We offer inpatient, outpatient, as well as residential programs. So our treatment strategy is kind of like on a full scale. So once an individual's needs are assessed, we can decide, or whatever is best for the patient. If they're able and they're committed to come in based on what this treatment plan looks like, that's what we offer. And so it is outpatient, inpatient, intensive inpatient, as well as outpatient.
Now, as far as the location of those, is that only in Gainesville or only in the bigger places? Okay.
Yes, that's specifically Gainesville and Lake City.
Okay.
Yes.
And as far as I know, one of the big concerns is always cost. So how do people go about affording some of these things?
So we actually accept some private insurances. So you're here like Florida Blue, United, Healthcare. We also accept subsidized, which is our Medicaid and our Medicare. And we take individuals who are also underinsured and individuals who are not insured at all. So we want to be able to meet clients right where they are. We always say check with your provider before. You know, you can always call us or check with your provider, and of course we'll do our best to get them in.
Absolutely. So as far as what are there any upcoming events that y'all have? Take it away.
I'm so excited. we have our annual Steps to Wellness, which is a luncheon. And it's going to be September the 22nd. This year, and it's going to be held at the Best Western Gateway Grand. And there are some opportunities for folks to sponsor the event. It's such a great event. We usually have a keynote speaker. It's a great lunch, great buffet, but we like to be able to highlight a speaker's experience, whether it's with mental health challenges or recovery, and just be able to learn more about their journey to recovery, but to be able to identify with someone who's been in recovery and just the services they've received through Meridian. So that's coming up this September, and it's an annual event. We do it once a year. It's an exciting opportunity for our partners to come out, for the community to come out and just be a part.
Fantastic. So how would someone go about finding it? Is it on the website, Facebook?
Yes, it will be on all of our social media platforms, but of course you can always visit mymeridianhealthcare.org to find out more information. As a matter of fact, a pop-up banner will be going on our page for the Save the Date, and people will be able to learn more information by visiting our website.
Absolutely. And I heard sponsorship, so I'll put a plug in there for Jeffrey when he gets
back. We appreciate that.
And I want to do one more plug for our community classes. So we are hosting a new course offering that we hope to continue, forever. We're advertising it right now as a summer series, but we want to do it forever. In the past, mental health first aid, we would go to organizations, and we still want to do that, but we also want to be able to host in-house classes in case you're an individual, you're someone who's listening who might not be able to attend this as part of your job. You might be attending this as part of your personal interest, just as a human or a friend or a family member, not as someone who works in healthcare. So we really want to be able to provide that for the community. And right now we're hosting 2 a month. One on the first Saturday of every month and another on the second Thursday of every month. And you can learn more about that by going to our website, mymeridianhealthcare.org. And they're alternating whether we're focusing on mental health first aid for adults or for youth. And this is for providing first aid to youth, not for youth. You have to be 18 to attend the class.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's going to be confusing. The course is totally free. It is 8 hours long, but you get a certificate. It's like going to a physical first aid training or a CPR training. It's great professional development, and I took mental health first aid, about 10 years ago. Really close to when it started, back in Maryland, where I'm from. And let me tell you, I've taken so much from that course, both as a professional, professionally, personally, as a family member, as a friend. It helps you be able to have those difficult conversations around mental health, around suicidality, around substance use disorder, how to have them in a compassionate way, and how to link someone to care. So it's so important. Please come on down. We'd love to have you for our community classes located at our Gainesville administrative offices.
So would that course include, I guess, like, I don't know if the technical term would be like warning signs,
yes,
or like what things to look for? So what are some of those for some of the viewers that maybe they can't attend, but you know they may know someone and be like, man, if I just knew what I was looking for, how to reach that person?
Yeah, well, you know, I could go on for a long time about what they look like, but here are a few. So in general, it's somebody behaving differently than they normally do. That could look a whole number of ways. You know, somebody being late who's never late. Right. Someone acting really erratic, impulsive, or angry, and they're never like that. Someone having someone looking different than they usually do. Right. Someone who's really pristine and prim and proper, all of a sudden their hygiene's out the window. Right. That could be a sign. The way someone's thinking is different. Someone is usually really detail-oriented and focused. All of a sudden, they can't seem to focus on anything at work or at home. That can be a sign. Yeah, so those are some of the main categories. It can look a whole number of different ways, but in general, if someone, as a pattern, is acting differently than they were before, that's a problem. And if someone is experiencing any signs or symptoms that are going on longer than is typically normal, they are more intense than is typically normal for them, or they're getting in the way of their life, that's when they should seek professional help. And an example I like to use for that is feeling nervous. Right. We all feel nervous sometimes, right? Just as humans. Absolutely. And sometimes that's good. It gets you to write the paper or finish your brief for work. Right. It lights a fire under you to do that. However, there's some times where it's too much, it goes on for too long, or it gets in the way of me doing other things. Right. And that's when we might be experiencing stress or anxiety, and we might need to engage in some self-help strategies or reach out for professional help.
So what would be, is just like on a friend level, if you're noticing that, you're not a professional, I feel like it's one of those things, better be safe than sorry. Yeah. So is it as simple as, you know, just being like, hey buddy, what's going on? Or like, what's the first step someone could take?
Yeah. Pretty much that. Just noticing, be specific about what you see. So for example, if I'm using the example of, you know, you are usually prim and proper and you let your hair grow really long. Like, hey, I noticed your hair's really long. Is that a style choice, or are you doing okay? I'm growing it out. I'm growing it out. You're growing it out. So I would say I could say that. I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Hey, if something's going on, you know, I'm always here to talk. Do you want to talk about it? And somebody be ready for the no. Someone probably isn't gonna be ready to talk about it when you first say, hey, I noticed something, I'm here for you. They might be shocked, they might need a little bit to process. But what matters is you open that door and let them know you're a safe person and that you noticed. That's really what matters. You're building yourself up as someone who's trustworthy and someone that they can come to. And they probably will need to come to you on their own terms. If it's an early stage, like if someone's experiencing stress, anxiety, beginning stages of, you know, depression, like early signs and symptoms, not a crisis, you might need to let them come to you.
You're just kind of planting the seed.
Yeah, planting the seed.
Like,
pretty
hey,
much.
I'm here. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you mentioned like self-help? I mean, some people maybe more private, and how does one go about internally like starting to realize, hey, maybe that's got to be difficult because my wife usually tells me, and so it's hard for me to recognize some things. Usually someone else points it out, but if you don't have that support system, then you may have to do it yourself. So how do you do that?
Yeah, so self-help strategies can look a number of different ways, and everyone's going to react to them differently or have different ones that they turn to. It can look like deep breathing. People might be familiar with combat breathing or box breathing. There's a common graphic where it shows the arrow kind of moving around a box, and you breathe with the arrow, just slowing down your breath, calming your heart rate if you're experiencing anxiety. That works for some people. Progressive muscle relaxation, where you tense certain parts of your body and then release them. If people experience a lot of muscle tension when they're anxious, that helps certain people. And for people with racing thoughts, people working on mindfulness or meditation helps other people. However, every person is different.
Right.
I know for me, I've been trying meditation for years, but I cannot have an empty brain. And a lot of people are like
can't
that.
Sit still that long.
I can't sit still that long. And that's okay. I found the things that work for me. Some people might need to take a walk outside, get enough sleep, eat enough, eat well, whatever that looks like for you. It's essentially doing things that help you when you're in an agitated state, like deep breathing and building healthy habits that are going to keep you from kind of getting to that agitated state, building a level of kind of self-care and self-maintenance so that when life stressors come up, you can cope with them better. And that is appropriate for everyone. Not everybody needs professional help, but all of us need to take care of ourselves and build healthy habits.
So it seems like you're kind of hitting it on both fronts. Like if you need professional help, y'all have services.
Yes.
Outpatient, inpatient, you got licensed mental health people.
Yes.
But you're also about educating the community and being like, hey, you may not be here, but, or if we can cut it off here, then you don't need that. So you're kind of hitting it on both fronts.
Totally.
So what are the plans to get these great programs, this great staff? How do we reach more people and grow this?
Absolutely. We want to continue to, use all of our mediums. Of course, our social media platforms. We want to use folks like you, keeping the word out there, getting the word out there, having conversations. We have our bus, which is our Meridian bus. That bus actually was donated to us right before COVID. And so our goal is to get the bus out to large capacity events. This Memorial Day weekend, we were down in Palatka, where we just opened an office down in Palatka. That's our Putnam County location.
I'm from Putnam County.
Really?
So,
I am too.
Where are you from?
Crescent City.
Stop it.
No, seriously.
I'm from Crescent City. You went to Crescent City High?
Crescent City High School.
My mom was Holly Pickens, the volleyball coach forever.
She was my PE coach.
Yes, that's my mom. My dad
she was
a
my PE coach.
Yes.
She's real. That's a small world. Tell her I turned out okay.
Yeah,
I think I saw her at Interlochen High School graduation recently. Yes, she was amazing.
Yes. Yeah, she's been there since
I was like,
forever.
I feel some energy with him, but I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah,
now I know.
That's awesome.
So yes, we had our bus down at the Blue Crab Festival this weekend. So everyone was coming, and we gave out so much information about Meridian, an overview of our services. We gave out tons of swag. The beach mats were a huge hit.
Yes.
But our goal was to let people know that we're in Putnam County. And people were from all over. People were asking us, what's your closest office to Jacksonville? And we say, we're right in McClenny. So we were so glad to know that we were out there and just, making contact with folks, having conversations. So yes, the word is to let folks know in the communities where we are that we are there. But I also want folks to know, we're not in Orlando. And I actually have lived experience with my oldest sister who came to me. She struggled off and on with substance use disorders for about 20 years. And she came to me last year, and she was able to come through Meridian. And now she is living her clean life. We like to call it her best life.
Yes.
She's living her best life. She, about a month ago, she picked up her 1-year recovery chip. She works for the University of Florida, part of their facilities team. Guess what? She has benefits in a car.
Yes.
And so she is a testament that when individuals are ready, we're also ready. So we're ready to help these folks on their journeys to recovery.
Right.
So,
and
yeah.
you're never too far gone.
No,
like
never.
There's great
Never
people,
too far.
great
Yes.
services.
Yes.
And that's a success story. So that's
absolutely.
awesome. A testament to you.
So
and
I
to
like
her.
to tell people, because of Meridian, I got my best friend back.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I'm so glad that you're in Putnam County.
Yeah.
Being from Putnam County, it's got a
Yes.
soft spot in my heart.
Oh,
Unless you're
yeah.
from there, I don't think you can. But as soon as I
Yeah.
cross the county line, I'm just like, I'm home.
I'm home.
I don't know if I
That's
can convince
right.
my wife to move back there, but it's definitely underserved.
Yeah.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
that y'all being there is that's going to be
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So as far as is the plan to just keep growing, keep moving into other places?
Well, we always assess our needs based on the referrals we receive.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the number of referrals and the patients we serve, that's how we decide, whether we're going to need to expand into certain areas. So when we start getting a lot of referrals from like Putnam County
Mm-hmm.
or Marion County or whatever, that's how we decided that we will open. So Putnam and Marion opened in January. Those are our two newest locations. So that's Ocala and Palatka. So those are always based on the needs that we see.
Fantastic. Are y'all plugged in with the mental health courts in Putnam?
I believe we
Marion?
are. Yes, the
Okay.
clinical side definitely
Okay,
is.
absolutely, because those
Yeah.
are two great programs.
Yes.
And so if y'all weren't, I was going to say I know some people who will get y'all plugged in, but you're good there.
Yeah.
So what is? I guess we're going to finish. I mean, we're already halfway through this year, so
Yeah.
we got to finish
Yeah.
this year strong. But what 2024? Like, what are the plans? What are you going to be doing in 2024?
So one of the exciting things that's going to be happening for Meridian is a hard rebrand, and that's really looking at not just colors and things like that, but what is our mission? We've been established for 50 years here, and so our goal is to really create this newer foundation
Right.
for what we want the next year to 50 years to look like. So this year we've celebrated 50 years. So the goal is to have a fresh vision and to be able to bring some of our stakeholders to the table, both internally and externally, and to be able to come up with a fresh vision for where we want to take our organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get a new mission statement,
Yeah,
maybe,
mission,
and
vision,
figure out where we're going. New vision,
logo, colors,
all of it.
and then of course
Right.
looking at things that our internal systems and how can we improve our level of care to our patients.
Right. Absolutely.
All of that.
So if someone, how does the community support y'all? Is it donations?
Yes.
Is it
Absolutely. So we, of course, always looking for partners. We do have corporate partners we have some that have been a part of Meridian, our journey for years, that have supported us. But of course, we're always looking for donations, people who would like to donate and come along and support us at any level because of the work that we do. We want to be able to look at long-term sustainability and look at, whether it's a capital campaign or something like that. Like we right now, the Amazing Give happened back in April, and we use those funds to enhance, I like to say remodel our MISS program, which is our Mom's Intensive Services Treatment Program. So we remodeled those what do you call them? We call them suites. So they're double occupancy suites for the moms and their babies. So when we bring in those types of dollars, we want to be able to identify things in areas where we can improve. So that's where we really want to be able to partner with the community so that we are not using, the funds that we're receiving, the federal funds for our programs, but being able to have a long-term plan for, enhancing what we have as it relates to infrastructure.
So if someone wanted to donate, who do they just call? Do they mail a check?
Yeah, of course, you can do both. You can actually give online. Of course, you can call our advancement department, which of course is our main number, but then you will call 8210, that's the extension 8210, and that's our department, and we will definitely take care of you. Of course, we have Samantha Rhetoric, who is our new director of partnerships and engagement, and she is phenomenal. So we're so glad to have her, and she's actually a fellow Gainesvillian.
Awesome. And so if someone wanted to go a step further, are they able to volunteer? I mean, how would we go about that?
Yes, we actually take all of our volunteers mainly through our department, which is our advancement and marketing department. We have a couple different programs. I like to call it, we got your backpack program, where we actually stuff backpacks with items for clients who are in transition, who are maybe leaving our programs. Inside of those backpacks, you'll find a blanket, a care card with more information on how to get back in contact with us, bottled water, What else do we have? We have a lot of goodies in there for them on their journey, but to always be able to reach back to us. And then, of course, we also provide backpacks for our back-to-school programs. So we're always looking for volunteers to help with those.
Awesome.
We have a donation closet as well, where we take in gently used items and we organize them. And when we have clients who are coming into our system of care who are in need of items, whether it's clothes or shoes or whatever that we may have on hand, we're able to be a support to them in that moment.
That's fantastic. I thank y'all so much for joining me today on Meldon Law Friends. I'm so thankful for the services y'all provide and so glad to be teamed up with y'all trying to spread the word. So if y'all are out there and you want to support Meridian Behavioral Healthcare, I recommend it. They provide a great service to the surrounding counties, not just Alachua and Marion, and just fantastic people. So thank y'all for being here and thank y'all for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.